Hey guys, if you're new here, my name's James. I own a company called Matchfit Football. We specialise in strength and conditioning for footballers, for youth footballers specifically, who are aiming to play at an elite level. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why it's my belief that in terms of strength and conditioning, specifically for youth footballers, in-person training is a dead-end solution. Actually, it's not a solution at all. Okay, and what we do instead. And this is actually why I transitioned away from in-person training and made the solution a fully online solution. And it actually, and you'll see from what I break down, the reasons why, the results which are possible from this are far, far superior than from in-person sessions or trying to do it through in-person sessions. So first of all, let's just look at the practicality of it. So if you want to improve your strength, your athleticism, you need to stay consistent with a process. And that's a word you'll often hear me use, consistency. You need to put the work in, week out. It can't just be the odd session here and there. That's not going to lead to anything. That's just going to lead to, training hard, but not training smart. You're just going to be going around in circles, not making much progress. To do that, a player needs to be doing, a minimum of 2 sessions per week. Ideally 3 gym-based sessions per week, not only to get the, enough of a stimulus for the adaptations, but also to make sure that we're covering what we need to cover in terms of the training content. Okay, so 2 to 3 sessions per week. So straight away, if you were trying to do that with through in-person training, does the average youth footballer with a very busy schedule with their team and any other sessions that they might be doing, some players are even playing for multiple clubs or playing different sports as well. Does a player have time to go to 3 sessions per week, every single week consistently with an in-person coach? Probably almost impossible to do that. Just logistically, having to travel to the session and also find a time where the coach is actually available to do that at the times which match when you're available as well, makes that very, very challenging. So already, there's a big cross through that, and that's going to hinder results straight away. Not being able to do, multiple sessions per week. That's the first thing. The second thing, here we go, the board rower. Let's imagine that is possible for you. You're able to do that. You found someone locally who specialises in this area like my team and I do, and you think, great, I can do some in-person sessions with them. Okay, now let's look at the cost. So if you want to work with a qualified strength and conditioning coach, let's say minimum, you're looking £80 per session for a qualified S&C coach. Let's say you want to do 1 session per week, which is not going to lead to any real progress. 1 session per week, over a month, that's going to come to £320 just in a month. Again, you're just training for the sake of training. You need multiple sessions per week to be seeing real progress. Let's say, okay, you've got the budget, and the trainer did you a deal. So 3 sessions for the price of 2 each week. So let's say £160, you've got your 3 sessions, £160 per week. That's going to come to, double the amount. So £640 per month on the best possible rate you're probably ever going to find on someone who doesn't necessarily specialise in your sport. You're looking at that every single month. Now, if we look over, say, 3 months, I might need my calculator for this one. Let's grab my phone. So over 3 months, 3 in-person sessions per week on an amazing deal. 3 months, I hope you can see my writing, okay? 3 months, 1920. Almost £2,000 in just 3 months of training sessions, with no guarantee that it's actually going to help you progress, and costing you travel time money to travel as well in terms of fuel. And also you have to train, maybe you're training something which isn't ideal in terms of the scheduling to get the best result from that type of training, because you've got to fit around when the coach is available. So straight away, even if all that fits, £2,000 in just 3 months. So let's look over a season. So 12 months. So that's times 1920 by 4. Sorry, not by 4. Yeah, by 4, sorry. £7,680 to do training in person multiple times per week, which is what would be required to make progress with an in-person coach over a full season. Almost £8,000 minimum investment to do that. To work with coaches who are more specialised, such as my team and I, it's not going to be £80, it's going to be much higher than that if they've even got availability. If you manage to find coaches in your local area who specialise in a similar, in this niche, it's going to be probably double that amount, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, just for the strength and conditioning side alone. If you try to then factor into that, if you want to work with a sports psychologist and a nutritionist, let's say you did the equivalent of 1 session per week with each of those, and they charged you £80 per session. So 80 times 4 times 12, 3,840. 3,840 for the equivalent of 1 session per week, say with a nutritionist at £80 per session. A sports psychologist as well. If you added that on again, so that's 4,000, another 7,000 there. You can see how if you want help in these 3 areas consistently over a long period, at least a season, or even a few months, to get the results and the progress that, to get the level of training frequency that's required to make progress in these areas, in-season sessions is going to price most people out. Or if you're a top paid professional player, who's playing, first team football and you're earning tens of thousands per week, not so much of an issue. But for your average parent of a youth footballer who's already got a lot of expenses going out with other things, this is really just, completely out of the question. And even if you could do it, it's not going to be a superior option purely down to the fact that you want to be doing the right sessions at the right time, and it needs to be convenient to be able to stick with it consistently. And that's why everything's set up with our program so that players can follow it from home with a basic range of equipment. Now let's say, well, I could do 1 session per week, I can afford that. I could do 1 session per week with a coach, and then they can give me some stuff to do by myself away from those in-person sessions every week. Or I could do 1 a month and just have a check-in, and then he can give me a program to follow, or she, by myself away from that. So the first issue with that is, one is the accountability. Are they going to be checking in with you, making sure that you're staying consistent with those sessions week to week in between? The other thing is the guidance. So they might give you a program and it has, some lunges, some squats, some different exercises on it, but without an app element, it's not going to be that beneficial to you, because you're going to have to try and remember what they've told you about those exercises in person and have to try and remember that. Whereas if we can do it on an app, with an app solution, and you've got, say, myself, for example, in our program, I'm standing there in front of you on the screen, explaining exactly how to perform the exercise, what to do, what not to do, how to perform it safely. Not only do you get that guidance multiple times per week, every single day, every single session that you complete, you're getting that guidance, but also you can re-watch it back as well. So you don't have to remember it. You can watch it back, and you can send across a video of you performing the exercise for feedback from my team and I at the same time. So not only is it a better solution in terms of that, there has to be, for a youth footballer, some element of app-based training. to be able to make it possible at all. Now, the idea is, obviously, we provide a solution which covers all of that for the reasons that I've just explained. The cost is, an absolute a fraction of what it would be in person, which counts most people out altogether straight away. But the idea is that we're helping a player to get up to a pro club level, and then hopefully what happens then is the pro club can cover the cost of the training for a sports psychologist. So they can employ a sports psychologist, a strength and conditioning coach, a nutritionist at the club to work with the players who are going to be there full time. Okay, so they can work with them day in, day out and give them that in-person coaching experience and guidance multiple times per week and help them make that progress. The club's covering all the cost of that and providing that for the player. That is the ultimate solution. Outside of that, to be financially viable and even really provide any sort of training solution at all, there has to be an element of it being online, a big element of that. And bearing in mind as well, like I said, the consistency is really important. What happens if you are doing in-person training and then one week, a match comes up or a session comes up or the car breaks down, you can't make the session. It all really affects the consistency. And by removing those obstacles and giving players something that they can follow from home, it really provides a solution that players can stay consistent with. And that's what leads to results. And it can all be tailored. And the high level of knowledge training knowledge can be passed on through the videos from my team and I to help players make the best progress and get the most out of every single exercise. So the idea is we're bridging that gap and helping players make that step up to a pro club, but at the same time, where there's an educational element as well. Okay, so by training and coaching a player on how to train themselves, and they'll absorb that from following the training over a long period. They'll pick up these strategies and training methods that they can apply to themselves then in the seasons which follow for the rest of their career. So they can apply that. That's going to give them a further edge. And like I say, if they're able to make this step up, then brilliant. They can get that in-person guidance. They don't have to cover the cost of it. Everything's covered there. Outside of that, to be able to make this type of progress and, make it realistically possible financially, there has to be an element of online. And I've trained hundreds, if not thousands of players in person and also the same online. And the online solution always leads to the best results purely because of the ability to stay consistent with the costs of the training and also in terms of being able to attend the sessions and complete them consistently as well. So that's why I think that in-person strength and conditioning is really, it's dead. For you footballers, it's a dead-end solution. There is no point in training for the sake of training, in my opinion. It's just going to add training load, which is going to make you more fatigued for matches, and it's not really going to lead to much. So let's say you attended a weekly group training session with an S&C coach, just to try and tick that box and say, I'm doing some level of strength and conditioning. Is it going to be specific to you? Probably not. It's going to be some sort of general session that the coach has put together to fit, multiple players in a group. Is it going to be related to your sport, your position? Perhaps not. If the coach hasn't taken a deep look at your specific situation and identified what you specifically need to work on. So we want to try and avoid this thing of just training for the sake of training. We really want to make sure our training efforts are going into something which is a proven process where every time you complete a session, it's building on what you've done before and preparing you for what's to come next. Stay consistent with that and making that setup as easy to stick to as possible is what leads to the best results. So like I say, the ultimate solution, in-person training multiple times per week at the right time of day. That's what full-time professionals are getting at a professional club. Outside of that, it has to be an online solution, more convenient, more affordable, and it doesn't limit the progress or the quality of the training as well. So yeah, that's essentially why I think it's such a superior solution for you footballers, and you're not losing anything by doing it in person. You're actually gaining a lot as well. Okay, so if you'd like help with any of that, then I've added a link below this video which outlines how we help players. You can see some examples of some of the progress that our players are making. If that resonates with you and you feel that that is exactly what you're looking for, then you can fill out an application form and then we'll take things through the next steps from there. So hope you enjoyed this video. Any questions at all, just add them in the comments below.